P.O.C. The mentally incompetent, who are the homosexuals that are no longer going to be revered on days of basically saluting a cult such as the U.S. military on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. They're going to be put in the proper light regarding the terrorists that they are and the violent homosexual stalkers that they are, the Satanists that they are, the criminals that they are. And while the entities engage in the overly exhausted tactic of stalking in a helicopter, as I document the people of the state, including the gang stalking commercial airline companies who are going to compensate me for the wealth of that evidence of my being terrorized by the U.S. military, as I document their criminal cooperation with that state surveillance system in furtherance of murdering me, as I document the airline companies, as I document the people of the state. The U.S. military chases me down in helicopters, stalks in helicopters, flies in circles around me and around my perimeter in helicopters. And the entity's doing that while the fake sun is over me, which I will document. This is exactly what Eddie is engaged in while I'm documenting, while I'm at the OVITT Family Community Library last night, as I documented, where the entity was maintaining surveillance by commercial planes, capturing the fake sun. The fake sun that is over me is, remember, the demons that find it so hysterical to be federally prosecuted as terrorists are representing the city of Ontario that is a gang stalker. And the city of Ontario is represented while OVITT Family Community Library is open and is hosting the criminal pattern of conduct while the entity amplifies helicopter activity, and that is at 1:55 p.m. This is the entity that is serving to diagnose and expose itself. The entity is maintaining surveillance, sitting at the benches at the Civic Center, inside of the OVITT Family Community Library. The demons that walk dogs, and I want to be clear, they are dogs that are dressed up in meat suits, looking as though they're human beings, normal minding their business, and they're nothing of that sort. The entity is engaged in what is the ongoing stalking, and you know that because the sun is over the Upland Public Library, and the two are not happening at the same time, and there's not more than one sun. And therein lies the criminal pattern of conduct of demons that are not worthy of having a federal holiday at all. And they ought to be referred to correctly, such as the demon possessed, the Nephilim, not any sort of United States military. These are domestic terrorists. This is the P.O.C. I want you to listen to that audible activity, because it is the federal prosecution for treason and the federal imprisonment, the loss of a severe federal case for Paul Leon, the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department, federal prison for terrorists like Landivar, who could not possibly be under any natural environment while I'm documenting the pattern of conduct while his co-defendants are in Ontario, behaving as the animals that they are, lacking any self-control and any strategy in a criminal case, all right, for which they don't have any means whereby they can stand in a case. They don't have any plans to. They're scared to death. Actually, they're going to die. That's why they are engaging in this psychotic means of self-destructive conduct of stalking in a helicopter that's documented when a federal court already knows that you're guilty before you even step in court. Okay? These are the suicidal. These are not any sort of veteran military force or that are worthy of memorializing. That's what's gang stalking. Just want you to see the heli. While they are stalking at a senior citizen complex, they are doing so while the entity, remember, while at 11:35 a.m., it's so hysterical while they're gang stalking. Remember how hysterical it is, their mental illness, because that's the mental illness that's being assessed while you find it so hysterical to engage in stalking a woman, conspiring her murder, engaging in what is monitoring her genitalia, stalking her in bathrooms. That's so hysterical. It's knee-slapping hysterics while they're engaging in that pattern of conduct, and they're engaging in conduct that does not have any affect other than putting them in straitjackets. That's what's flying in circles over a senior citizen apartment complex, over the Ontario City Hall, prosecuting a mayor, exposed as not a mayor, but a domestic terrorist. That's what's doing that under the fake sun. And what are you doing sitting on a bench while that's occurring? Right in the same civic center. You are stalking. That's another lesbian. Okay? This is the P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaged in gang stalking with minor children. These are the demons that you should not be having any barbecue in honor of on Memorial Day. Okay, you're talking about what are not any sort of means of celebrating so-called veterans. These are homosexuals, and their cult membership, right? Their Satanist behaviors have failed them. They're serving to expose what is the need for involuntary commitments. That's what's happening while you're seeing a black helicopter flying in circles. This is the entity that's gang stalking while they're inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, and they need to be making plans because Mickey's under this fake sun at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's over me right here. And Mickey, just like every other employee, is going to prison. That's the P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaged in what is waging false allegations. Remember, that's at 10 o'clock in the morning, where they're engaging providing what is a document about false allegations regarding these demons that are gang stalking. That's called crossing path and then walking back the opposite direction. That's called pacing, just like they are in helicopter. Okay? This is the entity that's engaged in that pattern of conduct together while you're not doing anything under the fake sun. You're not looking for nothing. You're stalking. That's a stalker. Okay? And that's a demon-possessed one. That's a vagina monitor. That's a mentally ill psychopath. And that is also, again, doing nothing other than joining some sort of military branch to be identified as a veteran. They are unworthy. They need to be checked into facilities for a battery of tests as opposed to having a federal holiday. And that's exactly what's going to change because they're going to be federally prosecuted as the terrorists that they are. That's why they're stalking. And that's what stalking is as you're identifying it in a specific environment. This is P.O.C. Memorial Day is going to be what is the federal prosecution of the domestic terrorists that will never again be mistaken as sane, law-abiding individuals or heroes or anything noble or anything worthy of even receiving a paycheck. The only payment that they will receive is what is that payment regarding being treasonous backstabbers, being disloyal criminals, being what are befriending enemies of the United States and making us vulnerable on the international scene. And for that, the U.S. military is going to pay. This is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 2 p.m. under a fake sun. That is here in the morning, where clowns are wearing City of Ontario uniforms and they're stalking me, going in and out of the cafe that's closed because that's how obsessed with me they are, including spending thousands of dollars on a daily basis stalking me in helicopters because that's how obsessed with me demons are. That's the P.O.C. It is currently 2 p.m. That's Union Pacific that's being federally prosecuted. P.O.C.